You are Locked On Mavericks Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Dallas, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
AD is back, and the Mavs get another big W tonight on the road to tip off their 4-game road trip in Brooklyn over the Nets. Here we go. Welcome to the Mavs Postcast, your team every day, and in our case, your team every single game. My name is Jeff Biggs. Thank you for watching Locked On Sports Dallas, your destination after every single game. You can also find us on the Locked On Mavs podcast feed. Coming up,
this is what you'll be talking about.
Well, of course, we are going to talk about the return of AD Anthony Davis. There was no way the Mavs were going to lose on the night that AD returned. How about 7 Mavs scoring in double figures? 10 games left to go now for the Mavs down the stretch, with the Suns set to take on the Bucks later on tonight. Opportunity there. We'll be watching that as well. But what's noteworthy about this, the Mavs with almost a 20-point win. They were up by 22 points at one point in the game. It was the first time, tonight was the first time since February 8th that they went up by as much as 20 points in the game. And let's get into the turning point for this game.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
I am going to say the turning point tonight for this one was the tip. And I just want to say welcome back, Anthony Davis. We got the word from Shams this morning that Anthony Davis was indeed going to play tonight in the opener of this 4-game road trip against the Brooklyn Nets on the road. We thought it was going to happen at some point on the road trip because that's what we were led to believe. Mark Stein, I think, reported on that over the weekend, but all signs were pointing to AD coming back at some point on this road trip. And here we go in the opener. Anthony Davis returns tonight. And again, I'm going to say the turning point of this game was right when they threw the ball up to tip it off. Anthony Davis scored the first 2 baskets of the game. The first one, that nice little lob from Spencer Dinwiddie that he put in easily, just wide open under the basket. And from there, it was really no contest at all. I mean, the Mavs completely dominated. I mean, I guess you could say, the Nets won the second quarter by a point, 31-30, but they were the Mavs won the first quarter 32-17. They were up at halftime 62-48, and they end up winning 120-101. Anthony Davis ends up with 12 points and 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block in 27 minutes. They wanted to keep it at 28 minutes. He ends up with 28. And again, it was not only good to see Anthony Davis back, but just his presence on the floor. You could tell it really made an impact on the entire team. And I thought it helped the rest of the team defensively. It helped everybody just have a boost and a comfort level in their offensive game. But when you add a star caliber player like that, we know, look at how the Mavs were when they had, Luka and Kyrie together and when they didn't. I mean, it's just a domino effect on the entire roster and the entire lineup. And, it's one thing for the Mavs to step onto the floor and play these games and think, okay, we're going to fight, we're going to play hard, we're not going to quit, and we're going to do everything you can, right? But when you put a player like Anthony Davis on the floor and you have now 10 players that are available, I mean, it just gives, there's just a natural boost that you can't emulate or replicate or fake. You just can't. And you saw it. I mean, everybody just had a different energy, a different enthusiasm, a different joy. I think they felt like, hey, we can win, we can dominate, we can impose our will. We're not on our heels. We have a chance to win. We have a chance to be dominant. We have a chance to really play our game and play at a high level. And I think you saw that tonight. Now, again, look, it's one game, okay? And I mean, the Nets are terrible. I mean, they look awful. Now, part of that, I'm going to give credit to the Mavs for that, for their defense. I mean, as Mark Followell pointed out on the TV broadcast, this was, I think, like the first time in 9 games that the Mavs had not given up like 117 points or more. So I'm going to give the Mavs credit for their defense. They, sticking with the number 17, they held the Nets to 17 points in the first quarter. But, I mean, the Nets are terrible. It's stunning to see a professional NBA basketball team look so poorly coached and just so bad. I know they play hard and they fight hard and all that. That's great, but I mean that's a bad team. So hey, but the good news is, I mean, I think with AD back, and we'll see what happens now with Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford, but they've got 10 games left to go now, and they're going to continue to grow and continue to improve. And as AD himself said during the post-game interview, this Mavs team, all that they've been through, all the adversity, all of the injuries, from the amazing start to where they are now, they fought, they haven't quit, they haven't given up, they've played hard, and they want a chance. For this group, despite what we think, they want a chance to see what they can do, to get into the tournament, get into the play-in tournament, and see what they can do. And they have 10 games left to go now to try to step it up and to try to improve and to try to get better. So huge win tonight, 120-101. We'll take our first and only timeout, but we want to hear from you via the comment crew. So please jump in, share your thoughts. What did you think of AD's first game back after 18 games? What did you think of how the Mavs looked and how they responded to his return? Want to get your thoughts when we come back. 120-101, the final. This is the Mavs Postcast. All right, well, I want to talk to you for a moment about Monarch Money. And, do you ever check out your bank account and you wonder, man, where did all my money go? Between eating out, online shopping, entertainment, it's really, really easy to lose track in a hurry. And I think that's where Monarch Money really comes in. It's your personal CFO, and it gives you full visibility and control over your finances. That's really important. Monarch Money is not just a budgeting app, okay? It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, your investments, and spending all in one place, so you stop just managing your money and you start building your wealth, right? Some of the benefits, you get really good insight. You can see for yourself, right there in front of you on your phone, wow, I spent that much on food delivery. Okay, I want to do better. I want to budget smarter. Maybe I can cook a little more. All in one convenience. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track your spending, even look at long-term goals. So that's a benefit as well. And it's really easy collaboration. You can manage with another person, your partner, and you can share everything, and it's really, really easy. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at Monarch Money for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. All right, welcome back to the Mavs postcast. The Mavs win easily over the Nets in Brooklyn, 120-101. Who would it be? Who should we pick for our player of the game in this one tonight?
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Well, the Mavs ended up with 7 players in double figures, but you got to go with the man of the hour, AD Anthony Davis himself. After missing 18 games with that abductor injury, AD returns with 12 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block in 27 minutes. But it was not just the box score. It was his presence, his energy, just him being on the court alone. It just made all the difference in the world, and was the main reason why. I mean, I think the Mavs would have won without him. Don't get me wrong, but he gets the honors tonight for this one. And I have to say a couple of things. Number one, after the last 2 games, I made the comments that, hey, I was not a big fan of Anthony Davis playing golf last week. Again, that was not me trying to be a jerk or, old man guy or spoil his fun or anything else. I just thought, you know what, you're dealing with a kind of a sensitive, intricate injury. Probably golfing right now, to me, wasn't probably the best way to exercise and to get out there. That's just me. But hey, you know what? He did, and he got through it. He was okay, and he returned tonight. So my criticism was unwarranted. Didn't work out. Yeah, didn't have an impact. So I will own up to that. And the other thing too, and more importantly, I want to say this. I was, for the last month or whatever, really since the injury, I've been pretty adamant that, probably there's no reason for AD to come back. Like, I get it. They want to compete. They want to see what they can do. They want to maybe make a run. He wants to come back and show the Mavs fans what kind of player he is. I get all that, but I was concerned that the risk of re-aggravating the injury and having something else happen was worse. But that was before I heard Nick Angstedt's interview with Dr. Sutterer. And if he didn't get a chance to watch that interview, which talks about not only AD, but also the injuries to Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford, I strongly encourage you to do so, for real. I mean, it was a really, really good interview a couple of weeks ago with Dr. Sutterer, who said, paraphrasing, that worst case scenario, even if AD were to re-aggravate the injury and require surgery, the most he would be out would be a couple of months. So if something were to happen here, he would still be recovered and ready to go for the start of training camp and next season. So I thought, oh, okay, all right. I mean, that's completely different than like a lingering, super long-term bad injury. So that's another reason why I've become a little more open. Okay, hey, you know what? You want to come back? You feel good. You feel healthy. You've been working to try to get back. 10 games left to go. That's a good chunk of time, almost about 3 weeks or so for this team to gel and come together and see what they can do, right? So all that to say is I'm down with that, and I thought he looked good. And then the other comment I want to make, and I'm gonna jump in here. We got some comments via the comment crew. You know, Nick and Isaac did a really good show talking about Anthony Davis and really looking at the Anthony Davis injury numbers, right? And really, when you look at it up close and you examine it, he's had a couple of bad seasons the last few years that were really significant, where he missed a lot of time. But aside from that, he really hasn't been as injury prone as maybe people think or have said, or his reputation is. With that said, don't get me wrong, he's been injured a lot. Um, but I think the other thing that you have to remember too is, I mean, everybody in the league gets criticized, right? Everybody has their moments, right? But you got to remember with AD, it was not only AD and street clothes and all those other names that he was called, right? But there was uh, an implication with it. There was an insinuation underneath the criticism on TNT and from everybody else that not only was he injury prone, but there was something about him that was maybe soft or fragile or something along those lines with that intent, that motive. And I think, put yourself in his shoes. You're a pro athlete that wants to be one of the best, or one of the best in the game. To have that kind of label where that everybody thinks you're kind of soft or fragile. I get it. I understand why he would want to come back, and why look, I mean, Dallas is his home now, and why he wants to show the Mavs fans what he can do. And you know what? Like I said, he's been working, he's been playing, and he's back. So AD is back. Congrats to him, and hopefully this is the start of what will hopefully be a fun finish to the end of the season for the Mavs. I mean, certainly the last 3 months, or 3 months have been brutal. I mean, probably this will go down as probably like the worst stretch, one of the worst in Mavs history. So to end on a positive note will be good. Let's get in via the comment crew. Our man Trevor jumps in and says, I did not realize Kai Jones was this athletic. Yeah, great point. Kai, I did not realize it either until he joined the Mavs. I knew he was, kind of a rim player when he was with the Clips, but I did not realize this at all. And I don't know if you've had a chance to listen, Trevor, but, the games that he has played, the 3-4 games that he has played, when you watch him play, it's like, wow. I mean, he's that athletic, and you're right. And boy, I'll tell you what, when you start thinking about him and AD and PJ, and we'll see what happens with Derek Lively and Gafford. I mean, wow. And what I love about him, Trevor, is he's so athletic that, you can just kind of put him in the paint or put him near the rim, and he's like a vacuum. And he just gives you options. He gives you athleticism. He can rebound, but you get anything up kind of in that area, and he can bring it home. And he's got major hops and major skill, and he is really, really a weapon. And so I think there was one basket. What was the one? I think it was PJ to Kai Jones in the third quarter. And Trevor points out, as long as that troubled past is behind him, he'll have a roster spot somewhere next year. Yeah, and I agree. Absolutely. I think he has earned a spot. I've said this before. I'm a big fan of Brandon Williams. Love to see him stay. I just love his game, just all around. I think he's going to get better and better. But with that said, good return. Good to see AD with 12, PJ with 16, Kai with 13 and 9, almost another double-double tonight. Spencer Dinwiddie has been playing some of the best basketball of his career, trying to lead this team. He had 16 and 12 for Spencer. Clay had 8. Naji Marshall, just a very quiet 22 off the bench. And I love that Naji just keeps going. Even if he has a bad possession, I mean, he is always going, always attacking, always going for the rim. Great game for him. Brandon Williams really got it going in the second half, ended up with 15. And Max Christie, again, another guy that just keeps at it, ended up with 10 with 5 rebounds and a couple of assists. So a good win. Big game tomorrow night at the Garden against the Knicks, but the Mavs get the first one of this 4-game road trip. They beat the Nets 120-101. I will be with you after the game tomorrow night with the Knicks. So please, if you didn't get a chance to weigh in tonight, please join me after the game tomorrow night. We'll look forward to that. And then we'll be under 10 games to go after that game tomorrow night. But Trevor, thank you for getting in, my man. I appreciate you. Thank you for those of you that have been watching. And again, our final score tonight, the Mavs take down the Nets in Brooklyn 120-101. This has been the Mavs Postcast.